Hi friends, this is called Pun Piso. My brain is creating thoughts and I'm going to present facts and truth from the Book of the Dead, where all religious texts came from. There are copies. All of them, no exception. This happened 5,000 years ago. So if you believe in God, you're a theotard in this 21st century. You're regress and you're delayed and your brain is malfunctioning if you believe in gods and demons and spirits and all that crap. We're in the 21st century. We're not in the 15th century BCE. So anyway, this morning, after I got up, I had an idea of creating another video explaining about where religions came from. Remember, the truth will set you free. And the world is the whole humanity nowadays is absolutely crazy. I mean, crazy. Even in United States of America, which is infected with God psychosis, the GOP, all these lunatics. They believe in resurrecting zombies, in Prophet Moroni, and the Muslims in this prophets with, flying to heaven from the city of nuts, Jerusalem. These are crazy people. If you believe in God, you are a theotard, you are stuck in the past, having a defective brain. Because we create gods and spirits and demons and thought with our brains, not the ass. And you accept these fantasies, these bizarre mathematical beliefs as true when the brain malfunctions, like it is schizophrenia. Religion is organized as schizophrenia. But this morning I had an idea of do this, and I just got up at that time. So you're going to see me explaining things. It just dawned on me that I'm going to make a video. And I just got up and went outside and grabbed my Book of the Dead and explained a few things, all based on facts. So, hey, I didn't comb my hair, I didn't shave, I was an evolved mutated primate the way we all look, because we age. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I'm not going to look like this. No matter if I take 20 facelifts, whatever. Still, So, hi, this is called putting a piece on 110 years old. Hey, we should let radiation make us old and all that. I mean, that's life. And we're going to cease to exist. We proud of our fuck, and we create thoughts with our brains. Able to tell fact from fiction when the brain is healthy. In other words, atheist. Keep that in mind. So here it is. Enjoy it.
This is called Pun Piso. A mentally healthy, in other words, an atheist, intellectual that likes to connect dots. That's what happens when you have a healthy brain. You can see the world much better. You don't have the fog of religious psychosis, the schizophrenia type neurological disorder of religious beliefs. We are in the 21st century, not the 12th or the 5th BCE or anything like that. I'm going to explain something about the spirit world, where all the religions came from, the 5,000-year-old Book of the Dead, the coffin text. You believe in God, you're a theotard, you have a problem with your brain. It's important to understand that. These facts. This is Pun Piso. I'm studying the Book of the Dead with all the birds, all the different types. Everything's the birds, the spirit world. And I have them right here. There's one right in there. Beautiful one too. Look at that. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. They love me. They are there. He's trying to eat something there. the meantime, I'm studying the relationship. All religions started with by ingesting drugs that affect the brain. And that's what everything came from 5,000 years ago. The ingestion of entheogens. And in Egypt, it was the blue lotus, entheogen. And they're everywhere. People don't realize that. But that's what they did. They used blue lotus in everything. And you can see it all in the Book of the Dead. They always have the blue lotus. And this is highly hallucinogenic. All this. Blue lotus, everywhere. In the heads. And that's when you ingest that, it makes you see God. And this is very interesting because you see them everywhere. And the birds are sacred. They were the spirit. And of course the snake represents very much of the penis because the penis was sacred in ancient times. But you will see it everywhere. Look at that. The God and the blue lotus. That's what it represents. Offerings to the gods.
The keyboard here is the flower is a symbol of resurrection. Probably had narcotic properties, so it's not without reason that they're sniffing these lotus flowers.
Exactly.
But they're just everywhere.
Hallucinogenic material. Ipomacia cerulean, or blue lotus, was used in all religious ceremonies here in the Akhenaten's palace in Urals. And it was used in all the sex and orgasm because the sex was very much sacred in ancient times. It was part of all
But it's
religious
omnipresent.
rituals.
Look at this. The blue lotus. Again. And the shen.
The Egyptians believed in many, many gods gave them tolerance. There was no racism in Egypt. You can take religion out of sex act, but never sex acts out of religion. 40,000 years ago, all religions were created in the brain by ingesting entheogens, psychotropic substances. And then the mind started wandering and personalizing everything, personifications, mutations in the mind. And of course, sex gave you orgasm. And the pleasures of orgasm were a gift from the gods. So they were included in all religious beliefs and rituals. Because the creation myth in religion and many, many religious texts come from an act of coitus, from copulation from the gods. And of course, if you take entheogens, take some drugs, and then you see God when having sex. A fact. Here in Arizona is Ipomea violacea, or morning glory. The Aztecs and the natives use it to, like LSD, to see God and see the spirits. These are all hallucinogenic flowers.
Because these hallucinogenic flowers, you can see God if you start eating that stuff. So they were right on the monuments in ancient Rome. All of them had little flowers in it. The lotus. Hallucinogenic. This is the drugs. No wonder they have all these spirits to see God with this. All these sacraments use blue lotus. Use the second. There are many more. But they all have it. And then you see the four seasons, the four gods, the four elements of antiquity, but all with the blue lotus. And see the adoration, because when they put the hands like this, they adore the sun god, the rays, which are the penis, that fertilize the earth. There's a lot of symbolism here. See, there you go. Blue lotus. Just take one of these, eat one of these, and you'll be writing a Bible or a sacred text. And again, blue lotus, Anubis, the soul, which is a bird with a human head. Here it is, a person with the soul. It's a mummy, looking for resurrection.
All these religious texts, Bible, Book of Mormon, all this, tons of them, and there's as many times. They're the word of drug, not the word of any god. Malfunctioning brains create all that stuff under the effect of drug. I see the angels and the spirits. Let me give you a datura flower to anybody. including atheists, anybody, a mentally healthy, anybody. Let me give them some. And they no longer be an atheist. They start believing in all the images. Oh, yes, I believe in you, Jesus, oh, so me God. I start writing everything down. Create your own Bible. So we know this in this 21st century. So if you believe in God in this 21st century and believing all that crap, not relies on the brain is the one that creates the mind and creates the garbage of the psychosis, you're simply deluded, a theotard, and suffering from a malfunctioning brain. A fact. No God, so creations of the brain. If you believe in God, you're a theotard. It's a fact.
The Falcon God, and then you have also Blue Lotus again with the person. People don't see this, it's obvious. And you see that? The Sun God. All these spells, Blue Lotus, sacraments, just like the Datura flower, just like peyote in the Americas, like ayahuasca, and all the different things in Mexico, where all the priests have all the hallucinogenic materials. And you see these, Osiris with the blue face, the hidden one. But again, the hallucinogens. So you cannot see God unless you take the sacraments. Take some peyote or take some cannabis mixed with amanita muscaria and mushrooms, and you'll be flying to God. All religions were created by the ingestion of entheogens over 5,000 years ago. The brain is the creator of God, people. If you have a malfunctioning brain, you will see all kinds of things. You'll have a schizophrenia. God is a creation of the brain. We create thoughts on the mind with the brain, not the ass. Religion is a mental illness. See this? See that? That is the Shen that symbolizes infinity. It's a Ouroboros, is the snake eating its own tail. Infinity, a circle. But this is the soul. There are my friends the birds over there. Again. See, forget the Bible, Quran, Talmud, or any stupid religious text. They're new. This is where all this came from. All this, the Book of the Dead. In other words, the coffin text of ancient Egypt they organized all the beliefs 5,000 years ago. Screw the Bible and crap like that. That's nothing compared to this. This would have all these spells, what you have to do after you die. Because in ancient times, they thought the heart was the organ that contains the soul and the spirit. Today we know it's the brain, not the ass. Look at this, the soul coming out again. Read all this. They should be taught this to children to see where all these fantasies came from. Religion is organized as schizophrenia. If you believe in all this religious and God nonsense today in this 21st century, you have a problem with your brain. You're no different than a schizophrenic. This is what people don't understand. We're in the 21st century. We are not in the 5th century or 15th century BC. See that? All with the head and birds. And my birds, when I'm doing this, making this video about the Book of the Dead, you see all the birds here. My little friends. These are the soul. These are the spirit. They come around and they enjoy life. They're beautiful. Birds are beautiful. See, in ancient times, the air was a spirit world. That's a spirit. This is the soul, it's air. So it's not just for today, for people being so stupid, believing in souls and a spirit and gods and demons and satanic crap. That is the schizophrenia. We are in the 21st century. We're not in the 5th century BCE or anything like that. So, the air is the spirit world in ancient times. God does not exist. It's a creation of malfunctioning brains, bizarre mathematical beliefs found in schizophrenia and in all religions. And I continue. See more, but see, you need the Datura flowers to see this. You see that? It is very interesting. You have the cone with perfume and incense. It floats around and the sun melts it. into the wig and creates all this perfume that was sacred. Everything was religious and sacred in ancient times. And then you see here, very interesting, you see the blue lotus that causes hallucinogenic. You can see gods when you eat them. And then, of course, the two hands that worship the penis. It's interesting because you see these pieces here. They can represent mushrooms, but also represent breast. The breast, the lady's breast, was sacred. It was the of Venus. And you see the different elements. Again, the sun is very important. And with all and you see the stars. There were gods. Everything was gods. Everything was gods here. And everything with lotus flowers and with all kind of, it's very fascinating. But see all these pieces here. Even my
40 carat star sapphire, which reflects the rays of the sun, forming into a star, would have been considered sacred. Gems were worshipped.
You can see the whole reflection of the star, the god in here. Very rare. But I also have a fish of Oxyrhynchus trying to devour penis Christ, the sacred snake of the gods that we create human beings with our penises, equivalent to the god Atun. We create everything with our brains. If you believe in God, you're a theotar. You have a problem with your brain in this 21st century. There's no excuse. In ancient times, it was, because I didn't know about the brain. But today, in this 21st century, if you believe in God,
Ignorant of neurology,
you're a theotar. You have a problem with the brain, just like schizophrenics. See, this you got Anubis taking a soul, the person, because there were three souls, the Ba, the Ak, and the Ankh, in ancient Egypt, because the soul was involved with many things, and it goes to the tomb to gain afterlife. There is a tree of life. It's all 5,000 years Egyptian religion, so this Bible crap is copies, is stupidity, and there are many Bibles that are ridiculous and nonsense. They're all copies, and the Quran and all these are new. They're all copies of the ancient religion of Egypt. There are many, many gods. There were no racism, no pedophilia, no intolerance in ancient times. All this is the invention of the Christian psychosis, created 1,500 years ago in the Council of Nicaea, the Catholic Christianity, from the death of the sacrifice of the Julius Caesar, the Jesus Christ, which is Jesus Christ, a title. It's not a person. And you see here more from the Book of the Dead. Different spell.
here the kite representing Isis has the infinity symbol of life, and it's going to touch the penis of the mummy, which is, flaccid, is dead. It's going to make a resurrect, giving them life, making the penis erect.
The fire of the sun was sacred fire. And here you have a furnace with these baboons representing gods, but they are the four seasons, the four elements of antiquity: the air, the water, the earth. And you can see all this in here, and the fire, of course. But see, these are like swords and like crosses. You see there, and they are brass. They are moved with the fire into the sun, and they are the four. And this is a symbol of a cross. You see that? Just like a cross and a sword. You have more in here, in the barge going to the heavens. So it's very obvious, and you can see the blue lotus, the omnipresent, the ubiquitous blue lotus, which is an entheogen, that is a sacrament that makes you see all the gods. That's the reason when you eat that stuff, you write all these books. Life is very different when you use drugs. Again, the four main gods. The sword or a cross. Lighten the fire. Everything was religious in those days. Everything was sacred. But you have many gods, so you have very much tolerance. Let's see. Believing in one God causes intolerance and sadomasochism and stupidity and ignorance. It stagnates the intellect. And this is what should be taught to children. Ancient religions, so they understand. But this Christian crap, Abrahamic religions, so-called Abrahamic religions, are a mental disorder, mental illness, And people that believe in God should have they have problem with the brain, and they should go to mental health clinics and get their brains fixed, because they do have a problem. You see that, all that, from the Book of the Dead.
And you know that beautiful Egyptian religion of 5,000 years ago, with so many gods, that was very tolerant. They believe in the baboon god, the crocodile god, the snake god, the cat god, and all that. Beautiful, the bird gods. You can still find it today. And you know where? In India. You see all the temples with the diminutive gods and rat gods and all that in India. They all believe in this. And the beautiful thing is that they made him immune to Christ psychosis and Abrahamic stupid monotheistic religions. Because the Hindus have so many different gods, and they are so tolerant, they all get along really well, you don't see any fights over there, that they laugh at the Christ psychotic infected imbeciles with only one God. They are self-righteous, deluded imbeciles. They believe only in one God. And their missionaries go over there with places that don't belong to try to impose a self-righteous piece of shit, zombie God believing to everybody. And the Hindus laugh at them because there are so many different gods. What? A zombie God that resurrects? That's the one we're supposed to believe? And they have tons of different gods. So they all get along really well. So that's what happened, because Christianity is a psychosis. And the most dangerous, self-righteous, immoral, pedophilia, sadomasochistic, genocidal psychopath. That's what's Christianity for you. And it's disgusting. And unfortunately, the United States of America is infected with Christ psychosis. It's a destructive immorality that stagnates the intellect and makes people fail-hearted, intolerant, racist, pedophiles, and with the screwed up brains. You can see that in the GOP. It's a perfect example. They're all believing all this nonsense and irrational things. Talk to one of those idiots and you see them. They're psychotic. Proving my point. Go to India, you'll see all the different religions of the Egyptian, the Egyptian religion. They're all there in India. It's a lot of fun.
And here you see where the cross came from. You see that? That's a cross right here. And that represents the sun, and also the four elements, in other words, the air and the fire and the water and the earth, essential to live and to exist. And on the bottom is the snake, which is also equivalent to the penis, the sacred organ that gave us orgasm. In ancient times, they had no idea about sex and orgasm. No idea. They believed it was a gift from the gods. That's just you have a lot of virgin birth and gods copulating with the earth maidens and all that, and created demigods. A god that has sex with a woman, then he has a demigod. All in Greek mythology and all the mythologies ever. But everything is in here. Everything. And the grackles are here too. In ancient times, these guys were sacred. Right there. My favorite bird. What a coincidence. Here I'm talking about Egypt, and it's September 29th, 2012. And here I'm talking to the blackbirds, and this one just landed in here. They really like me. The messengers of the gods. Messengers of the gods. They're beautiful. So, let's keep in mind, the brain is the creator of the mind. We are product of a fuck, not a stork. And you have a healthy brain, in other words, you're an atheist. You can tell the difference between fact and fiction. Then you can understand science, you can learn things, rejecting the psychosis of God belief, and learning, connecting dots, and be able to know how the world functions and who we are. Evolved mutated primates that create gods with our brains and all those bizarre beliefs when the brain malfunction. If you believe in gods, you're a theotard and you have a problem, not unlike schizophrenics. Pachytheon.
I forgot. Remember, I don't put up with Christ psychosis infected imbeciles or those that believe that are atheists but are not. and trying to question what I say and say that it's my opinion and crap like that, and post garbage from their infected brains here in my YouTube site. I will block you. I will block you. You have to prove to me that the brain does not create the mind and that I'm wrong in what I'm saying. Please, and I will appreciate it if you can correct me. But back it up with evidence. Otherwise, you're nothing but a psychotic, ignorant, infected imbecile that doesn't realize that he was created by a fuck. When a lady sucked the penis Christ of a man and he spit sperm into her cave, and 9 months later, this person that is trying to call me, and call me stuff here on YouTube was born with an obvious defective brain. So please, put up or shut up. Before you post in my site, give me evidence that I'm incorrect and that I'm wrong. Prove it to me. Then I'll listen. So keep that in mind. I block non sequiturs, people that attack the messenger instead of discussing the message. Christ psychotic, infected imbeciles or pseudo atheists. And I don't put up with nonsense and deluded ignoramuses. Okay, remember that. They have a defective brain. Keep that in mind. The only mentally healthy persons are atheists that can't tell between fact and fiction. We are in the 21st century, not the 12th. The brain creates the mind. Keep that in mind.